Hello everyone, I'm Rich Lamont. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to part 2 of the Jock Scott video. If this is your first time here, welcome. You really should go back and watch part 1 first though. Get yourself kind of caught up and see where we're at and how we got to where we are. So, we're just going to jump right into it. For this video, we are going to concentrate on the rest of the fly, which is the underwing, the main wing, and all the little goodies and fixings that go on the sides. So here, the underwing is made of white-tipped turkey, which is basically just a brown turkey tail with white tips. And that's what we use, is just the black part with the white tips for this. So I've pulled out and trimmed some for the underwing. I'll lay that right on here. And this is just like setting any other wing. You want it to kind of sit lower to the hook, because this is where the main wing's going to ride over the top of it. I'll do just 2 gentle wraps, let the bobbin hang. Like that, but I want to get rid of these. I don't like these being here. These little guys here, they can pose a problem in the future. After we tie in the wing, we'll have to tie in the sides, and those have a tendency to get in the way of the sides, the teal and the wood duck and such. Now the main wing is yellow, red, and blue dyed turkey tail, bustard, and golden pheasant tail. I'm not going to do not going to include that in the video this time, the marrying part. Just I've done that in a lot of videos, so you can go back. I am going to do a video in the future here on married wings, and really kind of take an in-depth dive into them, and we'll work on marrying quite a few. Different ways, different styles, and different feathers. It wants to marry together right away. As you can see, I've already done this. I actually went through and made a few changes because it just wasn't going together the way I wanted it to. That looks good. Let's get this lined up. Again, we'll just do a loose wrap here. Let the bobbin hang. Yeah, that looks much better already. This is the harder part of the Jock Scott, is this double wing. The turkey tail underneath, and then the the main married wing on top. That presents its own set of challenges. What winds up happening here is you kind of see it from the top here. You'll start to see the wing starts to slide down the hook shank on the sides and kind of splays out. That winds up carrying all the way down the tip, and that can splay out as well. But here it seems to be holding okay now. So it's already got kind of a big head on it, but I really want to have this hold together, and so I'm going to put a drop of clear Vinairs on there. Gotta find my needle. This is very thin and will really get down into those fibers well. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for maybe 10 minutes or so and let that really cure good, and I will be back. See you shortly. Alright, we're giving that a few minutes to dry. I have played with it a little bit, and I did notice that if you see here, the wing is starting to actually splay out just a little and kind of curve out. You're pinching right here, you can see it kind of goes back in, but that's kind of one of the things with the Jock Scott. Like I said, with that underwing, has a tendency to kind of push that out a little. Might be able to, once the fly is complete, very gently steam that a little. But I don't know if I'm going to go that far and mess with it. It doesn't look terrible. Alright, so we're going to add the jungle cock cheeks. Or jungle cock eyes, rather, which I've already gone ahead and selected. I just have a bad feeling this thing's going to have a big head on it. Hopefully the rest of it will look good enough that we won't have to worry about that. I was just snipping off that butt end there of the jungle cock eye. I'm actually going to remove most of this stuff here. And since I'm not going at it with a razor blade, I'm just using my scissors. I'm just going to take a little at a time. I'm not taking all of it, I'm just getting the majority of it out of the way, so that way it's easier to tie the rest of everything else in. We'll clean this up as we get closer to finishing up. Alright, so the next is the teal and wood duck, which if you've watched my channel before, you've seen we take the wood duck feather and basically strip all of this off this side, and we take our snippings from the other side. Now what I do is I snip and leave the brackets attached, just like so. Same thing with the teal. That way, should I mess up, those things are still attached and you can help realign your feathers a little bit. So now what you do is you take these, you take your wood duck slips and your teal, and you marry them together so that way they are just like the rest, forming the angle that kind of mirrors the angle of the wing. And then we'll take this and lay it over the top of that jungle cock eye. And then we can just use our dubbing needle to set it into place. The majority of the rest of this is just kind of positioning that now that it's tied in. So we'll go ahead and do the other side. I think this side's got too much teal. It's dinner time here, so you may hear some kitchen action. There we go. A little less teal this time. Okay, now for the roof, which for this is the bronze mallard, and it's the same thing. You take just this side, but I also leave the rachis attached. And drape that right over the top like this. Before I put on the roof actually, let's let's just put a drop of clear stuff here. Again, this is just the Vinaird's clear cellular. I'm not sure how that's pronounced really. And while that dries, we will select the Peacock Sword that goes over the top. And I find that when you're choosing your Peacock Sword, towards the bottom more of your sword, where you have these longer ones, is the better place to find them. But they can be a little bit tricky to get ones that are good enough to drape over the top, just because of the way they curl. So if you look down towards the bottom of these, you'll see these are very long and stringy and fibrous, and then towards the tips you'll have these nice little sword curls. These are almost curled too much. I actually, here we go. So these would be more like the ones that I would like to use for this. You can see how much they're straighter, they don't curl at the end so much. I actually got these off of Amazon. I thought I would give them a try, and I think they're fairly cheap. So we're going to select a couple of these. Let's see. Let's go with that one and this one. Okay, so these are the two that I'm going to choose. And we're going to take these and put them right up over the top like that. And then over here towards where it's going to curve downward, we'll do just that. Use our thumbs. Make sure they're nice and even. And just like anything else, just use your thumb a little bit, like kind of like a ribbon, and you can curl those, get it curved downward. And find your tie-in point, and then right at your tie-in point, kink it. You can use your, use your tweezers to kink it a little bit. Just not put it in your tweezers. Just like that. Here's where they become tricky. Yeah, it's a tad long. As you can see, they overhang the wing just a bit. And this would present, this is challenge number 2 of the Jock Scott. Peacock Sward is definitely not easy to tame in this situation. Looks good, but it still overhangs the wing a little. I think I'm going to leave that. It doesn't seem to want to be left alone. Too long now. Alright, let's try and get some of this other stuff out of the way here. It may have been easier to put this in with for the sides and everything, but Yeah, I kind of almost forgot. Come on, Bill. Stop biting me. As you can see, this does not want to cooperate at all. Okay, so one of the things that I've done before seems to help is to split the wing. Find the center of where your two wings meet. And split them apart. And then tuck that down in there. Just a little. Yeah, that doesn't want to work either. Yep, a car drove by that was loud. They apparently think that someone's here. Anybody else have dogs that always think someone's there to visit them? Alright. I apologize for this being a very slow part of the video, but this is one of the harder parts. There we go. That's a little better, though I feel like the rest of the fly got a little bit disheveled. Now let's put on the roof. Roof on the other side. Okay. Yep, this one's going to have kind of a big head on it. Okay, now we're ready for the topping. Alright, so it seems like I've got everything all set in place now. I'm going to go ahead and add the cheeks quick. And then we can go ahead and add the topping. So these are Kingfisher instead of the cotinga that it calls for. Kingfisher's pretty close. And I'm going to leave a little bit of the fuzz on there. on here. I had broke a thread off earlier. See that sticking through. You want to have your thread as close to the wing and the body and everything as possible when you tie this in. There we go. And then the opposite side. Alright, now we can add our topping. I've already gone through and shaped it and selected it and everything. And I went between two different toppings, and this is the one that kind of won out. It was a toss-up between this one and one that was a little bit lower and sleeker and more to the wing, but this is more of an exhibition style, and it's going in a frame for a good friend, so I'm thinking this nice big golden topping with these nice cascading barbs would do just the trick. Alright, I'm happy with that as well. Let's move on and select our horns. Now, this being a 5/0, it's going to be a little bit longer. I'm thinking making a mess. Alright, so these longer macaw pieces, I think are going to have to work. This is just macaw tail feather. So we just select one from each side, one for left, one for right. And when you align these, most typically you'll see these blue side up, If you look closely, you can see there's a clear defined blue and yellow. Most of the time you see them blue side up like this, but there was recently some discussion about blue side down that I did see on one of the forums, and it almost seems like they would mount quite nicely that way, except for that I like the blue side up look. I like the way the blue stripe is. So if you're a blue side down kind of guy, I apologize. Or gal. There's plenty of women fly attires out there that are far greater than me. That's for sure. Doesn't matter who you are. Fly tying's for everyone. Young, old, man, woman, children. Children especially. I love seeing them get involved. Help carry this. No, some call it an art, some call it a hobby, but I think it's more than that. There's history here, and I think it's important that we are able to pass that along and keep that going. And hopefully someday they do the same. Okay, I like that. You notice I haven't used much wax lately. I've been concerned about the size of this head from the start. So I've been really trying to shy away from using wax or too much of anything, including head cement. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of this veneered clear on here again. And we're going to put a little extra right here. And I'm putting it way out here because we don't want it to soak in from the top, but we do want it to soak into the head, where all these materials come together. We want that to soak right in and get right in there and bind that all together. I'll give that some a few minutes to set up. And when that sets up, we can go ahead and form our head, which I'm hopeful I can keep it. Oh boy. Just noticed I had a little bit of a slip back here with some material. It figures right after I cement the head. Okay, I think we got it. You guys might not have caught that. It wasn't much, just the roof was off a little bit. Alright, we've given that some time to set up just a little bit. I'm just going to go through and trim the rest of these off now. I like to hold the wing and everything and anything that I'm clipping firm enough to keep it all in place, but not too firm to wind up moving things around. And then when you're done clipping, you should have everything still right in place. And for the rest that you can't clip, you can go ahead and just burn off. Next, to form the head, I'm going to use wax and a little bit of thread. I'm going to build up a good bit of wax on there. And just kind of start that around. What I'll do is I'll take the ball of wax here and I'll just hit it with a lighter really quick on the side, and wherever I use the lighter on it is where I'll pull from. I don't actually go directly into the middle of that melted spot. I'll actually use like the edge of it. I'll be doing a video very soon on using different waxes and cobbler's wax and how to do a wax head and how to apply wax to your thread in different ways. As you can see, you can see the darker spot. That's where it's really melted. So I'm just pulling from the side of that. Right along the edge of it. Now it will cool quickly, and as it cools it will harden very quickly, so you got to be mindful of that as well. And then you can kind of go through and start. Oh, don't go into that. So get more thread right there. And you've got enough wax on there now at this point, you can actually go ahead and clip the thread off. The wax is holding it into place. If this was a fishing fly, I would not recommend this, obviously. But this will be going in a frame, so applying the rest of the head cement and building the rest of the head is going to keep that on there. So now the wax that I've applied, I was just starting to shape that a little bit with my thumbnail. And we're going to apply a little bit more. This time we're going to use a needle. So I'll heat some up. And then I'm just going to grab a little bit on my needle. And over time you'll know that you'll realize that your wax winds up getting thread and seals fur here and there. You'll get a little bit of this, a little bit of that stuck in it. That's okay in this instance. As you can see, that came right off like liquid, which is what you want. But you'll get your wax nice and hot, and as soon as that melts, the lighter will start to burn off any of that hair that's stuck in there anyway. And then just use the needle to start spreading it around a little bit. And then once you've got a decent amount of wax on there, that's built up, you know, a good enough head, got everything just about covered, and take your needle and just heat the needle up enough to melt the wax. You don't want to be getting it red hot or anything, so that way you're singeing anything that's on there. You just want to melt the wax just a little bit. Enough to get it to smooth out and sit up there properly. It's kind of a tedious process to do it this way, and I actually used to do this, and what I would do is actually have a candle, a little tea light candle on my desk, and that's how I did it. Because honestly, striking the lighter every 5 seconds becomes a pain, kind of real quick. When if you start seeing that you've got a little bit too much wax on there, you can melt the needle and drag the needle kind of away from you a little, and that'll start, the needle will start to pick some up on it. And then to burn it off, just hold the lighter on it a little bit longer while it's on there, and that'll burn off pretty quick. So all I'm trying to do right now is kind of get the head side down a little bit, size down rather. Trying to keep the head as small as I can. Alright, that's not terrible. And now I'll just take my thumbnail again and smooth out a couple of spots. It's a bit of a big head, but I can live with it. And then for the final coat, the final coat, I'm just going to use some Wapsi black lacquer. I do like using this. It goes on nicely. I gotta shake this up a little bit more. It goes on nicely, leaves a nice dark finish. Very nice shiny finish. I do like the Vinairs, the Solaire, but it is so thin though, and it's got a tendency to leach into things, especially gut. I'm not sure why, but it leaches into that way more than anything else that I've used. Oh boy, I just got it on the topping. I suppose I could just not get it close enough to the gut, but I do like using the Wapsi though. It does leave a nice finish. I'll leave that for now and do another coat later on. But that will be our finished Jock Scott Classic Salmon Fly. So I want to thank you all for following along. I really appreciate that. It's nice knowing that you guys find this interesting and that you guys really like watching and learning. Trying to do my best to keep it interesting. I know I'm not the most exciting guy to listen to, but I try. There we are. Finished Jock Scott. And of course, my forgetting the camera angles and all that happy stuff doesn't make it great. There we go. And there she is. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. That really helps me out. And it kind of keeps me creating content for you guys. Lets me know I'm doing a good job at what I do. If you guys have any questions and there's anything that you want to see, please reach out to me. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Any questions at all, let me know. I'll do my very best to get to them. If there's a specific video you'd like to see something on, I'll get to that as well. I do have a list going, so if you've made a request, haven't forgot about you, I will get to it. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video. I'll be out in a couple of days. Talk to you soon. Take care.